Welcome to Tuttle Talk on 1190 AM. Now, live in studio, your host, local real estate expert, Andy Tuttle.
Good morning and welcome to Tuttle Talk here on the Real Estate Radio Network on 1190 AM KFXR. Thank you so much for joining us here where we teach you what the rich and the banks do, not what they tell you to do, and where we dispel the misconceptions about financial fitness and the local real estate market. And when we show you we're focusing on a few key principles really can free you up to focus on the more important things in your life, like your friends, your family, and your community. Right here in the great state of Texas, I am your host, Andy Tuttle. Thank you so much for joining me. You can reach me on my off-air number at 214-736-9696. You never have to worry about getting surprised on air. It's an off-air number. But me or a member of my team will answer your call and answer your questions at 214-736-9696. You can also email me at questions@andytuttle.com. And you become a fan of the show at facebook.com/Tuttle Talk. Don't forget your iHeartRadio app, a really cool app. You can listen to all kinds of radio shows, and this is one of them. So if you get out of your car and you're in the grocery store, I know you want to listen to us still. So you just put it on your iHeartRadio app and put those headphones in and listen to us. And remember, this month, get out your phones. Get them out. I'm giving good giveaways every time, so you might as well just pull over, get out your phone, and type 72727 into the phone. Just dial 72727 and then type in the comments Andy T, ANDYT, no spaces, and enter to win a free iPad. So I'll be giving out that number if you missed it a few more times during the show. My guest host today, Zagros Bigvand. He is a master entrepreneur. He started several businesses, currently owns a few. We're going to talk about those. He owns a green roofing company, the first one in the country that I know of. He owns a green real estate company. He is an author. He is a speaker. And he recently bought a new company. We're going to talk about all those things. And I'm so glad he's here because we're going to talk about some of the secrets to his success in business and how really you can apply these in your business and life as well. Zagros, thanks for being here.
My pleasure. Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Hey, well, you're welcome in all those things. Yes, it'll be a fun show today. And the thing is about Zagros, he does not agree with me on everything, so I'm very interested on some of the topics we're going to talk about today. But at the end of the day, I have the button, so I can just cancel you out.
Me. Don't mute me.
I'm just going to mute you if it happens. No, truthfully, though, Jim Rohn says that you are the average of the 5 people you hang around with the most. Average in income, average in relationships, average in all parts of your life, which is why I let Zagros hang around me.
Oh,
so he can raise his level.
My level. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate that. No, such a gentleman and scholar. Andy.
That's actually
Andy Tuttle.
Andy Tuttle.
Andy.
That's actually
his nickname.
I know.
I will get into that later, though.
No, we're going to get into it right now.
Well, they call him Handy, and it's amazing. It's all these years later, they still call him Handy because he's handy with mortgage information.
So ridiculous.
Isn't it awesome? It's just some things to stick,
No, that does not stick. Randy's here, too. Randy Nichols is always with us every week. Dude, this guy has always been like this. Every time, I always mention me. Everybody here's Handy.
You have no idea how happy I am to hear that.
Oh, good Lord. The other one, the worst one he does is when we meet people, goes, oh, Andy used to be a drummer. He's the faceless drummer. He puts his hand over his face. He starts playing. I was like, this is so stupid. But he loves doing that to me.
Faceless drummer.
Yeah, that's right. But that is actually why I hang around you, because I don't like you that much. But you do raise my average. No, in a lot of ways. You're a great mind. I'm really happy to have you here. There was Darren Hardy, the owner of Success Magazine, publisher of Success Magazine, was talking to us at a conference last week. Great conference. So glad I went. But media knows a few things about us, and it's what they know about us is that our mind subconsciously has to react to danger. It's why, when you're in traffic and you're a big traffic jam and you see that there's a wreck way up in the road, but you're not sure and you're just upset, you're like, come on, move the traffic. And you get up there and you find out it's not even on your side of the road, right? And you just get even more upset because you're like, what the crap? Onlookers? Give me a break.
Get mad.
Yeah, that's right. But then when you get up there, what do? Well, you look because you can't help it. And media knows that about us, but when there's a gorgeous sunset, you drive right by it. Traffic does not slow down. You don't see huge traffic jams for onlookers of a sunset. And this is the same reason that when you watch TV, there's just always so much negative media, because our brain gets we're designed to, and our subconscious says, whoop, warning, there's danger, and we have to look. And they know that, and then that's when they get that interruption marketing, and they get us that way. And it's just so frustrating to me how that distracts us from some of the core issues. And I think some of the core issues as it relates to our everyday life and our finances, and also with the stuff in the debates and with politics. And I was able to watch those debates, the first one and the second one, and they talk about $4,700 a year in differences on Social Security and $2,400 difference on Medicare. And these big plans are going to make it that much of a difference. Look, on this show, I want to try to teach you, and the reason I bring guys on like Randy and business owners on like Zagros and everything we do, so that doesn't have to be a big deal to you. You know what I mean? If $4,400 a year is a huge deal to you,
something's wrong.
Something is wrong. And there's so many other things you can do with your money that can make you so much more that doesn't have to be the decision that sways you, the distraction, the danger, the onlooker wreck that you're looking at, and all the media that's putting out there, and not relying so much on who the next president is going to be, and that's going to change your world. Because at the end of the day, you need to help change your world.
They both say the same thing. They both say there's that top 1% that will be completely unaffected whatever we do. Why is that?
It's a good question, Zagros.
And from an entrepreneur's perspective, I would venture to guess, I don't know the exact number, but I would venture to guess that about 100% of that 1% are entrepreneurs, or the money was made by an entrepreneur and it was left to the next generation. So why is it that the entrepreneur can be elevated and above and beyond the whatever president, whether they're a blue or a red president? Why is that 1% so above these rules and regulations and the talks of Obamacare and Romney care, and what is it? What's going on? And Randy, you're a financial advisor. What do you think? What's going on?
The primary difference with the top 1% versus everyone else is that they take control and they take responsibility, and they hold themselves accountable for their performance, for their decision making. They don't look to outside and other sources. They don't look to the government. They don't look to you or me because they make, like yourself, Zagros, you've owned multiple businesses. You initiate things. You take control of your life. It's the same thing Andy says every week on the show, is that people need to take control of their own life, their own finances. They need to be responsible, and that's the absolute truth. The top 1%, always responsible, always accountable to themselves.
That's right. And if you're looking at, and sorry to interrupt you, Zagros, but when you're looking at everyone else and pointing the finger and doing that, I always like this. It's very cliche, right? But you point one finger, you got three fingers pointing back at you. But that's true. You got to just take them and go, okay, wait a second. Why am I so irate about what they're going to do with it here and there? Why am I not irate about the decisions I made last night and this last week to just sit on the couch, go spend all my money on lattes and not invest a little bit and sacrifice a little bit myself?
And we've talked about this countless times, Andy, off the air, on the air, that at the inception of this country, when this Constitution that we hold so dearly, when this Constitution was written, at the inception of this country, more than 90% of the citizens were entrepreneurs, were responsible, they weren't employed by anybody. Right. They made their own wealth. They created their own wealth. They were responsible for their own wealth.
That's right.
They were responsible for themselves.
For themselves.
Absolutely.
They took that, just like what you said, Randy, to take responsibility.
And for their community. I mean, they really did. Gosh, I wish I had
their community. Great point.
Because it was right after the Depression, there was actually a small town right outside. Oh, gosh, I wish I'm going to have the statistics for you guys. I will put this on Facebook. But there was a small town, and it was so famous because they changed dollar. It was one of the wealthiest towns in America. Right after the Great Depression, they did not suffer, and they literally exchanged the dollar within that town like 182 times before it ever left. Whereas now it's like 1 to 3 times. You know what I mean? Like the dollar's moving. They're moving out of the community so quickly.
Oh yeah.
But if we take little pods, that's when we talk about our community here. If we help focus on our communities and take responsibility for our communities, we're going to do so much better. We're going to grow in wealth and in intelligence, so that we're not really held captive by what the next president, whoever that is, does. Now, if you're just tuning in, you're listening to Tuttle Talk. I'm here with Randy Nichols, a financial advisor and partner over at Spectrum Financial, and Zagros Bigvand, owner of a few companies, Go Green Roofing and Go Green Realty, among others. He's also an author, and we are talking about kind of the debates and really taking control of our own financial lives. Zagros, I know that we have talked about this, like you say, many times. But one of the things that, speaking of Obamacare, you were talking, or Obamacare and Romneycare, Obamacare.
Obamacare, that's
done.
You got a new one.
You got a new one.
Trademark.
Stamp. So Obamacare or Romneycare, people talk about the health care. They talk about all of these things that may happen, and oh my gosh, what's going to happen? Look, go out, eat a better meal today. We're going to talk to Jimmy later in the show, Coach Jimmy, and have a little segment about that. Go out and make your health care working out right now. Lower your risks. Get a will or a trust in place for your finances. Start saving right now in an emergency fund, right, Randy? Mm-hmm. Start saving right now in a reserves. So if something happens, whatever that is, you're protected now. Stop spending your energy on wasting it on other people that you can't control what they do.
And if you're listening to this and you don't know, let's just take it back a step. They teach you how much it rained in Brazil, right, last year. This is how many inches of rain. But did they ever teach you what the difference? You say will and trust, but ask the average person, average American, what is the difference between a will and a trust? Please tell me.
Right.
How many people can honestly answer that question out of the average 100 Americans?
No, 0 to less than 1%.
I mean, what's the deal?
Well, it's a lack of education. That's one of the here we go with the frustrating things again. Mm-hmm. We say we're serious about getting our finances in order. We say we're serious about taking care of our families, but we don't properly educate ourselves. You really do need, again, here we go, I sound repetitive. You really do need to get with an advisor who knows what he's talking about, and you need to get the right advisors. We spoke about this just before the show started. Mm-hmm. You got to have specialists when you get into these arenas. You don't go get a general practitioner to do brain surgery. So the same thing exists in the financial world, in the legal world with wills and trusts. You don't go get someone who specializes in real estate to do your will, things of that nature. So you're right, Zagros. It's a very, very small percentage, primarily because people don't take the time, they don't put in the effort, they don't educate themselves.
That's right, and it's actually the same reason that only 5% of Americans have a will or a trust. Only 5% are protected and protect their family. But I'll say this because you actually remind me hey, look, guess I got some free information for you. Go listen to all the shows on andytuttle.com. It's a free plug because we interviewed an estate planning attorney and broke down the top 10 mistakes. You want to know what the difference between a will or a trust? Go listen to one of those episodes. Go find out what different things you can do to protect your family, protect your kids if you want them to inherit wealth, protect your own business. We've got great shows with Randy to talk to business owners. That's why we do this show. Mm-hmm. And I really wish and I hope, and we'll have to come back here with this, but man, talking about education, I'm so upset. Our schooling, we so teach to the test. We so teach our kids to be good at academic intelligence, but that's only one of the 7. And we're losing our butts on financial intelligence because we don't have, like you say, Zagros, we don't have the proper education. That's why they don't know the answer, because when they're not getting educated, they don't get it. We need to get it to them at a younger age. That's something different. We'll talk about that. You're listening to Tuttle Talk on the Real Estate Radio Network. My special guest today is Zagros Bigvand. You can reach out to us about any of these topics at 214-736-9696 or email me at questions@andytuttle.com. Coming up, I'm going to talk with our financial advisor, Randy Nichols, a little bit more in our Word on Wealth segment. Now, should you put down gobs of money from the sale of your home or a different equity source, different asset to buy your new home? People are doing this more and more, and some other radio and TV personalities are full board behind it. I'm interested to get your opinion on this, Zagros, as well. Is it a great idea, or is it a good way to go broke? We'll do the numbers right after this, so stay with us.
This program is brought to you by the Real Estate Radio Network. Visit realestateradio.us for more info. That's realestateradio.us.
Why do I need an agent? I'll just go online and get my own insurance. I'll save money if I do it myself, right? Online relationships aren't for everyone. A good agent gets to know a little bit about you and the things that you own so that he or she can get you the right coverage at the right price. And when you have a claim, you should feel good knowing you can call your agent. The same person who helped you get the coverage, the one who knows you, not some online stranger. If you're getting nothing out of your current insurance relationship, call me at 214-736-9696. I'm John Allen at Texas Community Insurance, and I can help you. Once again, that's John Allen, 214-736-9696.
Andy Tuttle here, host of Tuttle Talk. Yeah, I really am thrilled to get to speak to you every single week and bring the truth about our local real estate market. A lot of the stuff you hear in the news is based on national numbers, and it really doesn't mean much to us here in Dallas. So if you want the inside knowledge about what's going on in our real estate market, that is exactly what I'm here for. So give me a call, 214-736-9696, 214-736-9696. Whether you're looking to buy a home or you're looking to sell, you want to refinance or even invest, I can help you make an educated decision about what's going on and what's going to be best for you and your family. It's easy. I will give you the real facts. My team is going to give you the facts, and you're going to decide from there, right? That's how that works. So give me a call. I'm here to help, 214-736-9696, or visit me at andytuttle.com.
Why do people prefer to do business with Fidelity National Title? Some people say for the high-level security we offer through our solid financial strength. Some say they trust our history of excellent service. But most say it's our passion for excellence that keeps our customers coming back. Put your trust in a company that stands the test of time and will be here tomorrow. To learn more about Fidelity National Title, visit fidelitydfw.com or call 877-862-9111.
This is Pete the Fast Greek Horonis, host of Race Talk, the motorsports talk show, heard every Saturday live at high noon right here on 1190 AM and streaming on the web at dfw1190am.com. NASCAR, NHRA, the IndyCar Series, we cover it all every Saturday at high noon. Also, we tell you where they're racing right here in the Metroplex. So join me, Pete the Fast Greek Horonis, for Race Talk, the motorsports talk show, heard every Saturday live at high noon right here on 1190 AM and streaming on the net at dfw1190am.com. And remember, keep your racing on the track, not on the street.
Welcome back, Dallas. You are listening to Tuttle Talk on the Real Estate Radio Network here in the great state of Texas, in the beautiful state of Texas. I am your host, Andy Tuttle. Listen to us on your iHeartRadio app, guys. Do it. Pull it out. It's great. You don't have to have it in your car. You can also go to www.dfw1190am.com. You can email me at questions@andytuttle.com, and you can always call us at 214-736-9696. Don't forget, text Andy T, ANDYT, no spaces, to the number 72727. That's 72727. Enter to win a free iPad, guys. It's great. So it's very exciting. Do that. Text Andy T to 72727. We've been talking with Randy and Zagros, and we're going to get back more, Zagros, into your story, into where you started and where you are now and everything in between. But now I really want to start our Word on Wealth segment, and I'm here with Randy, who's been with me all show. Randy, thanks for coming on every week.
Absolutely. Thanks again, Andy.
Okay, so at the break I was talking about, paying cash for a house versus leveraging it, right? Impact of leverage on a home. So my contention is that everything's 100% financed. You either finance that yourself and lose money you could be earning on it in the marketplace, somewhere else, earning a greater rate of return, or you leverage that and you put it in the market, put it in another vehicle that can make money for you and keep you liquid for two main reasons. We need liquidity, opportunity, and protection. Now, I've gone over this. I can't remember if it was last week.
Several weeks, actually.
Several weeks. That we saw the $25,000 mistake, right? Mm-hmm. Average $150,000 home. Mm-hmm. If you put more money down on it, let's say 20% down, and did a 15-year loan versus doing a 30-year loan with 5% down, even though you have mortgage insurance on that, you actually make yourself an extra $25,000 over 15 years, or are able to pay the house off about 1.75 years earlier. So by leveraging it, so my deal is, maybe it's not at some point you can pay off your house, but that's not the goal. It is not the goal to do right now. It is not what you should be doing. Money is too cheap. And all these other, there's a lot of other talking heads, a lot of other pundits, radio show hosts, and TV show hosts that have their average audience makes $80,000 a year, and yet they're saying, go pay off your house, make that one of your steps. Well, you know what? Ask those same people that did that went through the recession and lost a job, and now they haven't had a job for 2 months. You guess what? Still got to pay your taxes, still got to pay your insurance. Where's that reserve money now? Where are those emergency funds? Well, you've liquidated all that. You saved it all up. You paid off your house. You did everything. And now you come to me, you make a call and say, hey, I need to get cash. Well, you can't get cash. And you're broke. And you don't have a job. And you can't do anything. And you lose your house. Is that really the smartest thing to do? Did that keep you protected? I don't think so. Randy?
Yeah, before I answer that, let me get back to you and ask you, I want to make sure your listeners understand this, Andy. Does everyone truly, really understand that when you pay off the house, that in order to get back to the money, you have to requalify? Do they really understand that?
It's a good question. I don't think so.
Okay, but let me tell you why I ask you that. I recently had a conversation with an attorney, and of course, attorneys are very, very bright people and very successful. He did not know that. So I want your listeners to understand that when you tell them that they are going to have trouble getting access to the money, that's what it's about. You have to requalify to get into that cash of the home. And if you've lost your job, if you're disabled, if any number of things may have happened to you, you're going to have liquidity problems. You can't get to the money. What you and I talked about several weeks ago was very simply this. Take the savings, as you said. Do the 30-year mortgage. Take the savings amount, put it in either an investment or overfund a life insurance product, or a combination of both, because there's some tax advantages there. You do that, and you're going to create liquidity that you have total access to. You don't have to ask anybody for permission. You don't have to fill out a financial statement. If you hit a rough bump in the road, if you lose your job, if you get disabled, if any number of things happen and you need cash, you can dip into those, what we refer to as side funds.
Do I need a job, though?
No.
Oh, that's interesting.
You don't need
isn't
anything. And you don't need permission because it's yours.
I love that.
Yeah, that's the whole premise. It's absolutely the truth. If you've been around as long as I have, you'll see it. I've seen it. And what you're saying is absolutely the truth. You can get into the static models all you want and paint a perfect picture, but life's not perfect. 2008 proves that.
Yep, that's right.
And one other thing I said, Andy, several weeks ago, on the other side of the argument, I said, now remember, if you're highly successful, you have a high income, you have a high net worth, if you have one or more businesses or whatever the case may be, and you've got really strong cash flow, and you've got really, really strong liquidity, maybe you do pay off the house. If you recall, I did say that. If you have the ability to pay it and you have all those other pieces in place, that's fine. But again, is our average listener really in that position?
Well, even the average American, the above average American, even if you think about it, it's only even a top 1%, like a percentage of the top 1% that should be doing that.
Agreed.
And so there's, for so many Americans, I don't care if you're making $250,000 a year in your business, $400,000 a year, most of the time, in fact, and it's been more and more in other parts, I've seen this, people with great wealth are still leveraging that right now. But Zagros, I'm curious about your opinion on this.
Okay, well, first of all, I want to address a couple things, both of you guys' points. I think a bigger issue here, I'm going to answer the question, by the way. But
you pulled an Obama last night. So what? How much did you cut this by? Well, let me tell you. No, I have a question. How much? Well, the story goes.
I think we Americans live far, far, far above our means.
You're absolutely right.
Is the big picture issue here. Why? Warren Buffett. Now I understand. When you make it, you finally made it. You're ready to live in that nice, expensive home that you've always dreamed about. Why? I mean, why do you go buy a house? You make $100,000, you make $80,000 a year. Why do you need to buy a $350,000 house? Warren Buffett, who we should all look to as our financial guru. I do.
Lighthouse.
The lighthouse. He lives in the man is worth $60 billion and lives in a
with a B.
$600,000 house. $600,000 house. Think about that. That would be, if he followed the same model that most Americans do, that most Americans, by the way, do not make $80,000 a year. I think what's the average household income? Half of that?
It's half. Well, the average, you need two. They say you need two incomes, I think, to survive. Okay. So it's like $37,000 is the average income.
Okay.
So a family is like $65,000 to $70,000.
So let's say 80. Okay. What's the average house price that the average $80,000 person lives in?
The average house price in Texas is $192, roughly $192, and
couple $100,000.
That's right, and they're typically buying. We see a lot of families that try to go $250. They want to keep up, but it's. Let me go. I know where you're going.
Yeah,
so
good
Warren
point.
Buffett. That would be Warren Buffett buying $180 billion house. I mean, come on. Really. You wonder if you don't have any money at the end of the month, you live in paycheck to paycheck. Well, think about what you're spending your money on. Now, to answer your questions, I believe that one should be debt-free. I like the idea of having no debt. If you cannot afford it, don't buy it. Don't buy it. If you can't afford it, don't buy it. Absolutely. Now, with a house, okay, rates are so low that if you cannot make more than 3.5%, what are rates right? Like 4%?
They're in the threes, to be honest with you.
The threes. So let's just round up to 4. If you can't make more than 4% a year on your money, there's a much bigger problem here. There's a much bigger problem here than that should tell you why you're broke.
Right.
just to be frank about it. That's why you're broke. You can't figure out how to make more than 4% a year, then you're broke. Then that's why. You just got to address that issue. But yeah, in that situation, man, you're just like you said, money's so cheap right now, you'd be crazy not to go buy a house and leverage as much as you can, not buy as much as you can. Just put as little down as possible just to have that money as cheap as possible. But live below your means, and watch what happens. You'll start to get ahead. It's not that hard. I mean, it's really not rocket science.
You're listening to Tuttle Talk here on the Real Estate Radio Network on 1190 AM KFXR. We're talking with Randy Nichols and Zagros Bigvand about really taking control of and taking responsibility and getting some accountability in your life around these things instead of wasting your money on things you shouldn't be and then complaining about what's going on in the politics and everything. Look, complain about how you've been spending your money if you're paycheck to paycheck. Now, look, I'll be honest, a lot of our listeners, they work so hard. You guys are hard workers. You're providing for a family of 3, and it's like, man, you're sacrificing a lot already. But even in those situations, and especially in those, you've got to tighten the screws and really get focused on getting out of the paycheck to paycheck rat race.
You know why I think that is, that people do live like this? They've committed, because there is no education in school. There is no education in high school, elementary, college. I went to UT Austin. I went to the business school. I was there for 2 years when I realized that business school isn't teaching me really about being an entrepreneur. Then I left the business school. I said I might as well just get a degree and do something fun. Like I got a degree in psychology just because I realized college isn't there. I'm not there to learn how to make money. Might as well have some fun. But people live paycheck to paycheck, really paycheck to paycheck, because they just have assumed that they can never get out of their situation. So you might as well live paycheck to paycheck, because it doesn't matter. I can never get ahead, so right. I might as well go buy the brand new car every 2 years. I might as well go live in a house that I can't really even afford. Buy clothes just because I see it on MTV. Buy those clothes just so I can look like my favorite celebrity. Your favorite celebrity is a multimillionaire. They can afford those things. Just because you want that doesn't mean you have to buy that. Put that energy towards learning how to make money.
That speaks to a very big thing, and Randy, I know you see a lot of this, so I'm going to go to you here, but that in our culture, we have a huge epidemic of pleasure right now. I want it right now. I get it right now. We get upset when our text screen doesn't come up in like 2 seconds.
Right.
So how the heck do we think that we're going to wait? We are taught that we're not supposed to. Every billboard, everything on media says it's all about you. You deserve this. No, you don't. Your family deserves that you be responsible and save and prepare and still enjoy life. But you know what? If you do for 5 to 9 years what no one else is willing to do, then the rest of your life you will be able to do what they wish they could. You've got to sacrifice,
though. Beautiful. Well said, man. Really.
Thanks, brother.
And by the way, I got to say this now, because you couldn't have possibly have planned this.
Don't underestimate me.
Well, no, I'm telling you. You know, when you put Zagros and I together, everything he just said I say on a daily basis. But the truth is, people get tired of hearing it from me because they think that my motive as a financial advisor is to influence them in a particular way, but because I have some sort of motive. Well, listen to what Zagros said. Everything he said as a successful business owner is the absolute truth. Now, it sounds a whole lot better from him because he doesn't have a dog in the fight. He's not the financial advisor trying to get you to get your finances fixed and straightened out. So you have no idea how happy you've made me.
High five, buddy.
Yeah, you really did, man. That is outstanding. And it's absolutely the truth.
Well, I'm glad you said. I totally agree with that, Zagros. So I appreciate you being on the show and being able to be candid with us. And we're going to get more into that here in a few minutes. I did have a question for you, Randy, because talking about this, and it gets me upset because I care about my community. I care about us being smarter and making bigger decisions and not being so held captive by what's going on out there. Why do you care? Why do you do what you do every day?
Andy, I do this. I do it for the same reason that I did it 28 plus years ago when I got in the business. I sat down when I was a brand new young guy in the business, 27 years old, back in 1985. And I developed my mission statement, and I said, I got to figure out what's going to drive me, what's going to make sense. And one thing made sense to me then, and it does today, and that is I want to positively influence the lives of others through financial well-being. Period. End of sentence. That's it. Every day I get up. My motto is to to positively influence someone's life today. I want to be a blessing to someone today. I want to do something that'll help someone today. That's what drives me every day.
Buddy, I am so glad it does, and that is exactly why I have you on this show, man. You are listening to Tuttle Talk on the Real Estate Radio Network. You can become a fan of the show at facebook.com/Tuttle Talk and get all past shows at andytuttle.com, and you're going to want to listen to them because there's good stuff on these shows. Don't forget to text 72727 and text Andy T to that number, ANDYT, no spaces, to enter in a free iPad. Coming up, we are going to do a deep dive with Zagros Bigvand. You've already got to hear him talk a little bit, but we're going to go a little bit deeper into his business, why he does what he does, and what he really thinks is going on in our culture and in his business, and how he got there, what some secrets are. You know, he's owned multiple successful businesses. He's been on hit TV shows, and through all this, he is excited about life and business. Are these some unattainable, secrets to his success that no one can ever get to, or are there just some key principles that you can use in your own life experience to experience a quantum leap in your business and your life? We'll tell you all of that, and we'll get to our Real Steal of the Week next.
This program is brought to you by the Real Estate Radio Network. Visit realestateradio.us for more info. That's realestateradio.us.
Are you a grandparent? Do you want to make sure the assets you leave to your children make it down to your precious grandchildren, and your children don't lose them to divorce, creditors, or lawsuits? I can help you make sure your assets make it down to those precious grandchildren. You can reach me at 214-736-9696, 214-736-9696. I'm Lee Hilton, and I help you protect the two most important things in your life: everyone you love and everything you own.
Real Estate Radio's Tuttle Talk in Dallas is hosted by local real estate and finance expert Andy Tuttle. The purpose of the show is to help consumers understand what's really going on in our local real estate market. We're teaching you the why and the how-to, so you'll always be one step ahead of everyone else. Whether you need to sell your home for top dollar, refinance and save money, or even buy a bargain in DFW, Andy Tuttle can help. Call Andy directly at 214-736-9696. That's 214-736-9696. Take advantage of speaking with Andy anytime you're entering a real estate transaction. Having someone who can answer all your questions that truly cares about you and your family's best interest is priceless. Call Andy today and you'll be glad you did. 214-736-9696. That's 214-736-9696. Or you can visit andytuttle.com for more info.
Do you have an insurance strategy? When is the last time you had a policy checkup? Do these sound like odd questions to you? Well, they might if you are used to hearing insurance agents talk only about all the money they can save you on your insurance. Saving money is important, but with insurance, saving money on premium may cost you big dollars on claims. Why? Because not all policies are created equally. So, if you come across someone who does not have a clear insurance strategy, or you yourself don't, they probably need an insurance review or a policy checkup. And John Allen with Texas Community Insurance can help. He is trusted in the industry, and he has helped me and many of my clients over the years save tons of money and get properly insured. Call 214-736-9696. That's 214-736-9696, and we will personally introduce you to John Allen to get that review, get that checkup, and take care of your needs. You can also reach out on facebook.com/Tuttle Talk. And we're back.
Oh, whoa.
You guys weren't expecting that one.
Oh,
see?
my goodness.
That was a good one today. Welcome back, Dallas. You are listening to Tuttle Talk on the Real Estate Radio Network. I am your host, Andy Tuttle. Become a fan of the show. Facebook.com/Tuttle Talk, or you can call us at 214-736-9696 about any topic today, especially if you want to get in touch with Randy about building your financial house, digging in a little bit deeper in some of the conversations we started today. You need to go deeper with that. You need to set up your house. You know it's time. You know there's no other excuses. No excuses. How bad do you want it? How bad do you know your family deserves it? Pick up the phone, call 214-736-9696, and we'll get you connected. I'm going to talk to Zagros about his secrets of business and creating your own little money machine and how that kind of works out. But first, it's time for our Real Steal of the Week. So We do this every week. This week it's brought to you by Randy Nichols at Spectrum Financial Group. He is a master at helping you structure your financial life, just like we talked about. And he's been helping people, him and Spectrum, and helping people get there for decades. Okay, I'm here with Christy Flanagan of the Kimberly Davis Group. Christy, how you doing?
I'm good, Andy. How are you?
I am doing great. Thanks for taking my call. Now tell us what's going on out there in Plano.
Well, I'll tell you, lots is going on. It is such a great time right now in the real estate market. I'll tell you right now, listings and inventory are low right now, but it's a good thing. And the reason why is because if you are thinking of selling your house right now, it's perfect because, your house is going to be more visibility at this time of the year.
Christy, are you getting multiple offers on these homes?
We have had some multiple offers on some of our listings.
Hey, that's great news.
That is absolutely great news, yes.
So speaking of one of your listings, what is the real steal of the week?
Okay, the real steal of the week is we have this beautiful home. It's located right off the Dallas North Tollway in Spring Creek. Great location. It's hilly, rolling terrain, hike and bike trails, beautiful mature trees. It has a lake in the center. This neighborhood is called Kings Ridge. It is the house is vacant right now. It's looking for a family. This home has a game room, a media room. It is located. It's just a little over 4,000 square feet. It's a shadow-built home. It's got hand-scraped floors and 4 bedrooms, 3.5 baths.
Wow, what are they asking for that house? What are they asking for that house?
They're asking $429.
That is a real steal of the week.
Yeah, it's a real steal. Yes, absolutely. So. Just needs a family. So if you know anybody, please send them our way. You can give me a call at 214-502-4806. I'll be happy to show our listing.
Great. Thank you so much, Christy, and thank you for giving us the real steal of the week. If you want to see that house, you can call that number that she rattled off so quickly, or you can call 214-736-9696. Christy, I'm just giving you a hard time. You can call 214-736-9696. We will get you hooked up with Christy or a member of the Kimberly Davis team. You can also go to kimcan.com to find out more. Christy, thanks so much.
Thank you, Andy. You have a great day.
You too.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Okay, now we can get into, we always talk about financial fitness, which is extremely important. And then now we want to bring in our weekly physical fitness segment because it's so important that you are also physically fit. Benjamin Franklin said, when you're healthy, everything's better. So here we go, Coach's Corner with Coach Jimmy Hayes Nelson. It's a new segment. Coach Jimmy, how are you?
I'm doing well, Andy. How are you, buddy?
Doing fine, brother. Thank you for taking the call and doing this for me.
Of course.
Yeah, okay. So I know I thought I was really interested in an article you wrote on your blog about increasing your energy at the office. I definitely have a problem with that. I know a lot of people do. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I find that this happens a lot of times with people that, we all have peak hours of the day where things are going really great, but maybe it's that mid-morning lull or maybe it's the after-lunch lull that our energy kind of wanes at the office, and that's when we find ourselves really grabbing snacks and things that, aren't going to help us in the long run, are going to give us a temporary sugar spike, and we're going to have a worse crash afterwards. So what I did today on my blog at nosanchi.com is I came up with a few little tips on how you can increase your energy at the office, and a lot of it has to do with what time of day you're eating your heaviest carb meals. There's actually a sentence on there that was shared with me when I was in my weight loss journey that I found really helpful, and it's eat breakfast like a king, eat lunch like a prince, and eat dinner like a pauper. So if you eat breakfast like a king, lunch like a prince, and dinner like a pauper, which means you're going to eat your biggest meal of the day early in the day. Your lunch is going to be a medium-sized meal. Your dinner is going to be your lightest meal of the day. That way your energy is going to be higher in the early part of the day when you're starting your day, in the middle of the day around lunch.
So when I ate that huge half-pound burger and a full thing of fries last night for some freakish reason, and that's probably not the best way to lose weight.
No, but you're not alone in that. So many people make that mistake, And it also depends on what types of carbs you're eating. That exact same meal you just described probably wouldn't be ideal for lunch because you're going to want to come back to your desk, crawl underneath it, and take a nap.
That's right, which I do from time to time. I have a little alarm clock on there. I got some great ideas from George Costanza on Seinfeld on how to sleep under your desk.
Yeah, and so we talk about that on the blog post, and obviously I will post this article on the Tuttle Talk Facebook fan page.
Great.
So, all the listeners, everybody can have access to this. But we also go into not only the timing, but what types of foods are going to give you the most energy throughout the day. And a lot of it just has to do with not necessarily amount, but the quality of the food that you're putting in your body. It's the same way you consider your body a high-performing machine. You got to put high-performing fuel to have it go at its maximum capabilities.
Well, brother, I appreciate that. You're a guy that knows. You lost 100 pounds. You're in great shape now. I know you help a lot of people out on your fan page. You have thousands of fans, and I know that every time I get on there, I see that they're always so excited that you're helping them out, leading them, so I appreciate you doing that for us here. Physical fitness is extremely important. Jimmy, thanks for being here.
All right. Take care.
All right, you too. Thank you so much. Okay, I love talking with Jimmy. I love talking about the physical fitness side of it. It is so important. But now, going back to the financial fitness side of things, Zagros, you've owned several businesses. You are very successful in what you do, not only in business, but you're also not killing yourself working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Now, I know you have done that.
Mm-hmm.
I know you got to sacrifice.
Oh, yeah.
But I know that was never your goal, was to work the rest of your life for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, right?
No, you got to enjoy life, but you do have to pay your dues. That's really important. You know, I remember when I was broke, I worked, when I was waiting tables. And by the way, when I say entrepreneur, I also mean to me, an entrepreneur is if you're working a commission job, you're an entrepreneur. Basically, if you are hunting, you're eating what you hunt. That is an entrepreneur to me.
Right.
Eat
what you kill.
Exactly. That too.
You can eat what you hunt, but I don't know if you don't kill it. It doesn't.
So violent, Andy Tuttle. So you're an entrepreneur. You are hunting and you're killing, and such a violent show this is. How did it become so violent all of a sudden?
You started it.
Anyway. So. That's an entrepreneur to me. So just to clarify that. But yeah, the end goal is not, obviously the end goal is not to work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The end goal is to enjoy, work hard, and then enjoy your life. Build it so you can enjoy so that you can take care of your parents, you can take care of your family, you can take care of your community. I mean, that's the end goal, and if you've got the ability and if you learned how to do it, you should teach others how to do the same thing, by the way.
That's right.
Very important.
That's a very good point that you make, and I'm glad you say that too. It's also a great way to learn is to teach. One of the best ways to learn. Now, Zagros, you're from Kurdistan, right? It's northern Iran.
Right, northwest of Iran.
Northwest of Iran. And do you think that coming from that culture and growing up in a family of that culture has helped some of your views, or do you see a difference in the way you grew up with the way a lot of the American culture grows up?
You have to understand where I was born, the part of the world I was born, there is no go to Starbucks just because it's right around the corner and spend $6 for a drink, or there is no. It's about family. It's about community. It's about it's about working hard, and so coming here, there is so. It's the opportunities in this country are unbelievable, and if only people knew, if only the people that Americans. I'm an American now, naturalized in 2000 and right before September 11th, actually 2001.
Wow.
Good for you. Yeah, I mean, I've been here for whatever. I'm 34. I've been here 32 years, But, we have so much opportunity in this country. It's unbelievable. If people only knew, that. So to answer your question, yeah, coming here, it gives me a completely different perspective. Just listening to what it's like, what it was like for my family and parents and uncles and aunts and everybody back home. Yeah, of course. Coming here, it's like you just take the all the weight. It's like running with a weight vest, but you come here, the weight vest is off. You're running. You feel like you're flying.
That's very interesting the way to look at it too, and your perspective and focus is there. And you've been a hard worker your whole life. In fact, I'm kind of curious because I know you're a hard worker now, and ever since I've known you, you've been a hard worker. But how did that start out? What was your first job?
Okay, my first job was I was 14 years old.
Which is young.
14, and I was bagging groceries at Food Lion at Frankfurt and Midway. Bagging groceries, and that was my first, because I'd always been borrowing money from my mom or getting an allowance from my mom and spending it and thinking, not really having any value of what money really was. But then when you're making I think it was probably, let's say I want to round up to $5 an hour. I don't remember how much.
I don't even think it was that much, man.
Yeah, I was like, okay, all right, if I work as much as I can after school, let's say I can work 20 hours a week, 5 times 20, it's $100. Wow, $100? I'll have to work an entire week for $100. $100 my mom would just give me, And I'd work a whole week for I started realizing that working hourly is not the way to do this. It's not the way to do this. It's not. You're never going to get ahead. Not to where you're financially independent. Working $5 an hour, 20 hours a week. If you're calculating how much you're going at your income based on how many hours you work, you'll never get ahead. I realized that at 14.
Wow, that's a very young age. So ever since then, you've been doing moves.
Then I've been graduating. I graduated to becoming after that stint was over, I was a server. I became a waiter. And so that was my first entrepreneurial job. I was a waiter. I was making, $2 an hour, but with tips, I started getting really good at getting 15% tips and then 20% tips and then 30% tips and figuring out what it took to get more and more, to be the best I could be on all the different waiting jobs that I had. How could I be the best at it? Really deliver the best service to my clients. I thought of my customers as my clients. They'd come in. I mean, I'm working at that time. Let's say it was called Fresh and Light. They would come in, and I figured out if I offered them wine and different things to really make their experience wonderful, I would get a bigger tip.
That's fantastic, and that's good learning. So if you're just tuning into Tuttle Talk, we're talking to Zagros Bigvand about how he really started out and how he started to learn how to really increase his hourly rate, which is really what you're doing there when you're increasing your tips. So you did that, and now let's fast forward really quickly to after you did that and going to school and learning psychology and understanding people, which I know helped you big, and understanding how to help them in such a way and also gain a profit by doing that. You're in business. Mm-hmm. You've started some that weren't so successful. You tried to do a training school for kids in soccer, correct?
Right.
Really quickly, tell us how that went wrong.
Okay, very, very quickly. I got funding for a company when I was a student at UT. I got funding for a website idea called coachingschool.com, which was designed to take coaches playing manual, videotape the plays, and bring it online. Well, this was way ahead of its time because most people didn't have broadband, any kind of direct they didn't have most people were on dial-up back then, in other words, so they couldn't download the videos with enough. So that business went under, and especially after September the 11th, it just couldn't survive it. And then after that, I started doing all kinds of things. Not long after that, I got into the mortgage business, by the way, thanks to you, Mr. Andy Tuttle. But I was selling cars. And I was doing all kinds of things to just earn a living until I found a job in something that I was really passionate about, which ended up being in the mortgage industry as a loan officer, and I loved it.
And those are the tips that are here. So, because here's the deal. I'm trying to get to your secrets of success here. And here's what I've got so far. And here's what I want you to take away. One, you learned very quickly that just having an hourly rate that's set for you is not the way to create financial independence for yourself. Two, work hard. Never stop. Never stop trying to learn how to be the best at your craft. Whether it was bagging groceries or whether it was being a waiter, always be the best at your craft. And that's how you succeed there. One, and it's a little more fulfilling when you try to be excellent at something. And if you don't love what you do, even in that situation, look for something that you are very talented in and that you have a passion for. That doesn't mean you stop working what you're doing in the meantime, but always be on the lookout for those opportunities for you. And the last thing that I hear is never give up. You've had things fail. Nothing fails like success. And you have to get up and do it more. So like this situation, that you were pushing and you failed. Right. And it didn't work, but you kept going. And that's what I mean by nothing fails like success. On your road to try to be successful, whatever you do, it's a part of it. You're failing forward. That's what happens, right? And you continue to go and you continue to learn and you continue to push until you find things that work.
Right. Exactly. You have to work. You have to work hard. You got to keep trying. You got to keep pushing. You got to keep driving it forward constantly. It's got to be, you got to treat, until you get to where you want to be financially, you have to treat life like you're in war. You're waking up to go to war every day. Until you've accomplished your goals, treat it like it's like you're going to battle. And how does a warrior treat their day? What does a warrior do every day? You're a warrior. If you want to get to where you want to be, treat life and be a warrior, and you'll get through it. And that's just the mindset you have to have. And you'll get there. Everyone has the capacity for it. There's nothing special about any of us or about anybody extremely wealthy, or there's nothing special about them. But they treat life different than other people do. but you can do the same thing.
That's great. That's a great way to end that really quickly. Again, when short on time. Speaking of pushing, you push forward far enough where you've got a book out. And so tell us a little bit about this book. Mind Your Beeswax is a book I wrote specifically once I quote unquote made it. I realized, and I always wished I had a mentor growing up. I never had a big brother or anybody that was financially independent that was guiding me and teaching me. I was just learning just the hard way. Everything I was learning was the hard way, and I always wished I had a big brother. So finally, when I did make it, I realized I'm going to be that big brother. I'm going to be that big brother, and I'm going to teach others how to make it too. Because when you've got it, once you've figured it out, you realize there's an infinite number of pies in this world. We're not all eating out of the same pie, so you can teach others how to create that pie. And so Mind Your Beeswax is designed to teach so that if you've got the ability to want to teach others, if you got the ability to make money, for example, you can teach others how to do it. If you got the ability to be an expert marketer, you teach others how to do it. And just pay it forward, like what you're talking about. And you can find it online. You can also get it on you're going to put those links on my fan page. Yeah, I will. Put the links on that, guys. If you want that book, go pick it up. Go click the link on the fan page. You'll have access to that. Also, if you're in the mood, you're going to get holiday lights this year, he's going to have a link to a new company that he just bought. This guy's everywhere. It's a fantastic company. Holiday lights are great. I love holidaylights.com. I love holidaylights.com. You can also get it on our fan page. You'll have the links there. If you don't get it, write it down. Get that done. Thank you so much for being here, Zagros. Thank you for having me. Really appreciate it. Both of you guys. Great conversation today, both of you guys. Okay, you're listening to Tuttle Talk. I hope you've enjoyed the hour. We are out of time. Don't forget, go to bootcampaign.com. Get your boots on. Support the troops who wear them the first Friday of every month. Take your pictures. Post it on our fan page. We want to hear all about it. Don't forget to also go to Mortgage Review, yourmortgagereview.com. Finish out a quick mortgage review. We'll show you we can save you money. Text 72727. That's 72727. Andy T. Type in Andy T, no spaces, to get entered to win a brand new iPad. I'd like to thank Randy Nichols, of course, and Zagros Bigvand for being here with me today. We'll be back here next week. I'd like to thank Danny Miles, our production director, the entire family at KFXR. That's it for today. Race Talk is coming up next. This is Andy Tuttle for the Real Estate Radio Network. We'll be back next Saturday from 11 to 12 right here on KFXR. Thank you so much for listening to Tuttle Talk, where we're making financial intelligence a priority in the community. Have a great day.
Randall Nichols is a registered representative of and offers securities, investment advisory, and financial planning services through MML Investor Services, LLC. Member SIPC, 5080 Spectrum Drive, Suite 902W, Addison, Texas, 75001.